Africa tour. This is amazing. The Pan-African Dance Tour will make 10 stops, and the first stop is Zimbabwe. Paul is in studio with us. Wow, when you hear me reading your CV, you know, what does that do for you? when you hear the things that you've achieved? Because sometimes when someone's introducing you, you think it's almost surreal,
Sure.
and you kind of think, did I really achieve all of that?
Absolutely. Well, it's all out there, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't really, I haven't internalized it at all.
Yeah.
Because I'm living it, I suppose, you know. But on that note, Happy Women's Month.
Thank you so much.
You look so divine as usual.
Thank you. Paul,
really
you're always
do.
full of compliments. That's why I love having you here.
Honestly, you look just
It's
divine.
so nice. Thank you so much. But listen, let's talk about you and your rise. It's always nice to talk about somebody and where it all started for them, and where this love for dancing was. Where did it all begin?
Home, on the streets. You know, I think it's so weird that I get to do my Africa tour 10 years into my business, because Africa is a moving nation, and yet I'd never explored the continent. So for me, the love of dancing started at home, you know, during family festivities. You know, Africans are such generous audiences when it comes to music, dance, and arts and culture.
Yeah.
So it started at home.
It's incredible. I mean, I'm not going to go through all of the things that you've done, because I mean, I think we've covered them in the introduction, which is a huge accolade to any dancer and a privilege, because you know, people choose dancing as a career and they don't necessarily make money out of it,
Sure.
and it turns into something that you do on the sideline, but make money elsewhere. But this is a business. This is your life and your career, which you've become successful at doing.
Yeah.
You know, how hard was it though?
Oh my gosh, it was a journey. Absolutely a journey. I think the first thing I needed to realize was that it was a business like any other business, you know. So my first 5 years was literally about just establishing myself. And like many businesses, I've faced moments and days when I felt like shutting down as well, but you strive on, you know.
Yeah.
You have to get your entire business model in place. I always say that you can sell anything, provided that you're willing to put in the amount of work, that you're willing to approach it from a business perspective. So I needed to get the right model that worked. And I'm glad 10 years later, I'm still in business.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm working.
You've got the model, and you're
it.
so damn talented. Now, this breaking down borders, I mean, I love the idea,
Sure.
and I think it's fantastic. Where did it come from? Why are you taking it to 10 different African countries?
I think one of the things that has always been disappointing and very sad for me was that my story became an international story. You know, I got accolades internationally, I got opportunities to perform around the world, but in that entire time, I'd never had the time to actually expose my talent in the continent. I guess 10 years in the business, I felt there was no better time than to actually go into the continent, than now to actually go into the continent and teach my skill, but also learn from the continent, you know. I feel it's part of my give back to this continent that has given so much to me. I've made history, as you said earlier, as being the first dancer from the continent, and yet I've never given much to the continent.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of artists in South Africa, when they think outside of the borders, they think USA, Europe, and perhaps even Asia, but we barely ever think about the continent as a market. And it's a very responsive market that needs us to really grow into.
That's amazing.
And to get our talent out there.
How has the uptake been so far? I mean, since you've announced it, do they know you? Do they know how big the brand of Paul Modjadji is?
Absolutely. I think the excitement I've received has been absolutely overwhelming.
Great.
I've been receiving a lot of requests through my office to come to some of these countries to come and teach, but my schedule, I could never find time in a moment. And I think the fact that it's finally happening now means I'm thankfully going to places where the demand has already sort of been kind of there.
Yeah, well,
absolutely.
Listen, I wish you the best of luck. If people want to just get a bit of information, and if they want to join, where do we go?
I think the best place to do, Leanne, is to Google me. Just go Paul Modjadji on Google. You will find everything you need to find. You're right there.
You're a star. Unbelievable. He starts this tour. The first stop is Zimbabwe, and then you'll see the rest of the countries on the screen there. Our treasure here, Paul Modjadji, who's just an absolute star and is sharing the love of the rest of the continent. Thank you for stopping by to talk to us. All right, let's take a break. We'll see you after this. Stay tuned.